Hi, I'm Terry Stallwood. I'm a professional real estate investor. I help average Canadians try to make more than average income through buying and selling of real estate. Through this process and meeting all these people, we always run into, I guess what you would say, frequently asked questions and answers to go with the questions. So I can give you a few of those if you want to listen to that. I guess the first one would be, how do I find a flip house? We typically, search the newspapers, Kijiji, ask everybody we know if they know anybody else or have heard of anybody that wants to sell a house or get rid of something. Let's see, the bandit signs. You can always put out some bandit signs, but you have to be careful of city regulations doing that. They like finding people or stealing your signs. The main thing is just getting out there and talking to people. That's what you got to do, and search out, any websites that you can find to do that. That's how we typically find any houses, or one of the best ways too is through a realtor that really knows how to do flip properties and investment properties. So that's one of the key points too. Make sure you have the right realtor. I guess one of the other ones is, how do I find money? Money is always a tough one. A lot of people will tell you to go and make a list of all your friends and all your family and try to get money from them. I've never had real success with that, and a lot of people I've seen that have it never ended up well. Either you lose your friends or you don't lose your relatives, but you can sure be a pain in the neck sometimes. We go mainly ourselves, go to a lot of networking meetings. There's all kinds of them for real estate investing. We deal with mortgage brokers, the odd bank, private money lenders, and other investors that don't want to get involved in projects, but they do have cash on hand now. There seem to be a lot of people there with either RSPs that they want to flip over and use in real estate investing, because they're only making 1.5%, maybe 2% through the banks. Through the real estate investing, they can make anywhere from 10 to 18%. So that's always a good option. But it's just another thing. You got to get out there and talk to a lot of people, and we can help you we can help you introduce you to a lot of people that are lending money or private money lenders. So that's a lot of stuff that we do. One of the other ones is how to select a good contractor. You need to be very careful on your contractors. You always want to make sure you can get references from other people. If possible, go and see some of the work that they've done, because when you're talking to the contractor, they're always the best. And they might do good work and they might not. You have to check that out on your own. Do some due diligence. You just can't take everybody's word for anything anymore. You just got to check it, check it, and check it. Let's see, how to... Oh yeah, so if you end up buying a house, one of the questions is, how do I know what to do and how far into it should I go to? You really need to get some rapport with a good realtor. Your realtor can tell you what needs to be done in the house that is going to make it more sellable and more valuable. If you can find yourself a good interior decorator, that is another great thing to have. You know, you get your realtor and your interior decorator in there at the same time even, and everybody hashes it over, comes up with a plan. Because you don't want to just, a lot of people make the mistakes of, they do it the way they like it. Not everybody likes it the way you like it. You need to do something the way most of the average people want. And you got to be with the trend of today. If it's not in the trend of today, you're in trouble. Because there's a lot of people are thinking 20 years ago, and that's not working anymore. So get yourself connected with a couple of really good key people, and don't think you know more than they do. You need to really listen to them. Will I have to do any work myself? If you're capable of doing some work, you need to do as much as you possibly can, because it's the only real way that you can really learn how to do this, how much time it takes, and how much money it takes to fix it. Because you really need to know your costs when you're doing these things. It never hurts to get in there and get dirty, do your own rip out at least once. You know, and maybe you're not mechanically or carpentry inclined, but do on especially your first flip, make sure you try to do as much of it as you can. If you're not a good painter, I recommend don't paint. Because that's the first thing people are going to see when they walk in is the paint, and you don't want that all messed up. So, especially on the tear out, and you know, if you want to plant some shrubs and change the lawn a bit or whatever, just do whatever you can possibly do. The more you can do and the more you learn how to do, the more you're going to know, and the quicker you're going to learn all this. So just get your hands dirty. How do I find the right realtor? That's always a good question. You need to interview your realtors. You want to make sure that they are doing investment properties themselves. You don't just want to just run up to any realtor, because not many of them really know the real estate investment program. You want to make sure that they're dealing with investors. They know how to do a proper walkthrough. There's a different walkthrough if you're only going to buy the house and move in. The walkthrough for investment property is much more thorough, and you really need to know, because it's all dollars and cents to you. You're not just going to move into this house and live in it as is. You got to go in there and fix it and properly make it so it's good to sell to another buyer that's going to stay there for hopefully a long time. So you need to really check out your realtor as well, ask around, make sure they got good contacts, because they have the contacts for money lenders, insurance people, mortgage brokers, and other investors that want to buy and sell properties. So when you're checking out a realtor, make sure you really go into depth, and you don't have to hire one the first day you're out there trying to do this. Check them out. Where do I buy all my supplies when I'm doing the renos? All the major building supplies. Like you want to go in there, you want to get to know one of the commercial salespeople. Get yourself a contractor's card so you can get any discounts that are available. And you need to make a good rapport with the commercial salesperson. They can get bigger discounts than the advertised discounts. And if you put a whole package together, they can get you like a whole complete package discount. And you need someone like that working on your side. Windows and stuff, you need to find 2 or 3 good window suppliers, and make sure they know you're doing this like full time. You're going to be buying more than just one job. because they want to deal with people that are doing over and over and over. So the more you buy, the more discounts you can receive. And just price, just make sure you know every sale that's going on in the city, and just keep checking them out and get there when it's on sale. Pick up everything you can get. Insurance, when you finally find a property and you need to close on it, you have to have insurance the day it closes or before. All insurance people don't know everything about investment properties. You need to find an insurance broker that specializes in investment properties, residential and commercial, because anything over a 3-unit apartment block or like a fourplex is going into commercial again. So you need to know residential, commercial. You need to know somebody that is working on your side, not just selling you upgrades that you don't really even need. The insurance guy needs to send it out to probably 6 or 8 at least insurance companies, price it all out and get you the best deal. So you got to make sure, same like a realtor, you have to interview your insurance people. Or if you get a good investment realtor, like I said before, that goes right along with they have their own insurance people, and they can tell you people that absolutely know how to do this and can work for you. So check those out really well. How do I work with my RSPs? We have in my group, like I have a power group that I call it. We have some financial people, and they're one of the only 2 in Manitoba, and they can actually take your RSPs and change them into a self-directed account, and you can use those to buy and invest into real estate. Not everyone can do that, and not everyone will suggest you do that. Like the banks, if you've got them in your RSPs with them, they don't want you taking them out. They want you to make 1%. If you take them out and direct them and put them into your own investments, then you can make way better income on them. Yeah, one of the most frequent questions I get are, how do I buy a property at the auction? I go to the auction almost every week. I'm referred to at the auction as the professional there. If anybody new comes in the auction itself, the auctioneer sends them over to see me so I can tell them all the ins and outs about it. It's taken me quite a while to learn everything about the auction. You really need to know what you're doing. You just can't go there one day and buy a property. There's so many things, so much groundwork and due diligence you need to do. Like we search out everything, title searches. We go to the property. I talk to the lawyers daily. I go and try to see what I can see in the property. At an auction property, you can't get in the property normally. Very seldom you can. But if nobody lives there, you can go and look around the property fairly well. I find out from the lawyer, if the owner lives there, you just can't go walk all over the place, looking in the windows and stuff. That would not be advisable. There's so many liens and stuff that you need to search all out. Like we do all of that before we go to a property. I usually get a 3-week lead time on it, so I have 3 weeks to search it out and do all the things I'm going to do. And you need that time to do it. That's another one of the, it's not really a course, but I do have people that I've taken there and gone through everything with them step by step for a nominal fee. Or if you don't have time to do, like you pick out a house at an auction, like I can do all the legwork searching it. We can go and bid it for you and everything else, and that's a minor fee too. So it's easy to go and see auction properties, but you really need to, do some digging, and you really have to find out everything. When I go to an auction, I know more about that property than the people living in the house. Just be careful on those. How does a joint venture partnership work? I usually find an investor that has some usable cash. The joint venture partner will purchase a property. They either have cash and buy it totally out, or they are able to get a mortgage with it and they have a down payment. And they also need the money to do the renovation. I have 45 years experience in contracting, so I look after the contracting part of it. I have people that do the work. I've gone through it. I've priced out the renovations, done a workup sheet on it, did some potential profits, and when the project's done and sold, everything's paid out. The person's paid back their money. If they did a cash, if they did a mortgage, the mortgage is paid out, all the expenses are paid out, and whatever is remaining between that and the sale price is what your profit is, and we usually split that 50-50. A lot of other people do joint venture partners. The splittage percentage is different, 60-40 sometimes, but I do it 50-50. I'm not trying to make the highest amount on the house. I try to be as fair as I can with the investor. If the investor doesn't make any money, he won't be an investor anymore. You need to keep those people happy. We've also, that's on a flip property. We do joint venture partnerships on buy and holds also. We'll find an investor that has the usable cash. If possible, we go in there, we buy a investment property for cash. Could be a duplex, triplex, whichever. Do a big cleanup on it, make sure it's rented out, and then we'll, in a few months, we'll have it reappraised, and then we'll put a mortgage on it for whatever we can. They'll give you a mortgage for 75% of the appraised value. So, like for an example, if we bought a duplex for $200,000, did some cleaning and re-renting, and then had it appraised at say $260,000, then they would give you a mortgage for 75% of the appraised value. So it gives you the opportunity to get all of your upfront money back. You want to make sure you're covered for all your expenses through the rents, and then you can get all the cash back out of it and go buy another one. This is the scenario that we've been using, and it's been working real well for us. One of the other questions we get, can I use receipts on my income tax? Yes, definitely. A lot of people don't realize that when they're running around looking for properties to buy, they are in business. You try to keep track. If you're using your car for personal and business, then you need to keep track of a logbook, mark down your mileage for when you go to look at the investment properties. Keep track of your gas receipts, your phone bills. Like if you have an office at home, you can use a percentage of your area for office expense. These are the things you really need to know. You need to go over it with an accountant, get it set up properly, and keep track of everything. A lot of people just don't realize that they can write some of these things off, and you need to talk to a professional and have it all set up so this all works to your advantage. Do I need training? Unless you're a real gambler, training is a big benefit. If you just go out there and try to do all this just knowing nothing, you're going to learn that you should have spent some money on yourself. One of the main things is invest in yourself. So many people don't think it's worth the money to have somebody that knows what they're doing, offer them advice and show them the ins and outs. You can just save so much money in the end that, it's unbelievable. I've done it both ways. I've had a lot of training. I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on training. I still spend money on training. Like, you always need to invest in yourself, no matter how old you are and how much you know. There's always more to learn. Just people going out there and making stupid mistakes, it's just not worth it. So, I would totally advise you need to get some good training from a good qualified person and, learn as much as you can as you're trying to get started into the real estate investing business. So I'm sincere. If you want to give me a call, or we'll go and have coffee sometime, just give me a call at 1-204-451-0393, or look me up on my website, terrystallwood.com, and I give you a half-hour free consultation, and we can just kind of hash things over and go over some stuff. I can tell you where we can go from there, or give you some advice that you need. So thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks.